Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. While we wait for a few students to filter into the room, we're going to launch a short poll asking for some information on why you are joining today's presentation. Please select the option in the poll that's most aligned with your current goals, or if you're currently undecided and just hoping to learn more. And we'll leave this up for a few minutes to allow people to filter in and then get started. Hi, everyone who's just joining. We're just going to wait another minute or two to give everyone some time to get in. And during that time, we are running a poll, and then we'll get started. Okay, so we've ended the poll. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And I'm going to just share these results before we get started. So as we can see, there's a good mix of students here that are interested in graduate certificates, graduate degrees, a combination of both. Some students that are here that are not sure yet. So hopefully we're able to answer those questions for you and give you some general information on both certificates as well as how those stack to our degree programs. Next slide, please. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamie Gallo, and I'm the Assistant Director of Certificates here at Harvard Extension School. I'm joined here with some colleagues from the Office of Pre-Degree Advising and Admissions, my colleague Lauren O'Brien and Allison Bogus, who are pre-degree and admissions advisors. As I mentioned, this presentation will focus on the wide range of stackable credentials we offer at Harvard Extension School, which include certificates, degrees, how a degree and certificate can work in tandem, and how you can stack these credentials, these certificates, while earning a degree. Throughout the presentation, our colleague Kelly Ross will be posting relevant links in the chat. We encourage you to explore these for more detailed information. And after our presentation, we'll open it up to questions. Due to the number of attendees, we're going to ask that you submit your questions through the Q&A feature. And please hold questions until the end, as we may be answering these as we move through the slides. Next slide, please. So today's agenda. I'm going to start off by talking about certificates and how you can earn one. Afterwards, I'm going to hand it off to Allison and Lauren, who will talk to you about our degree and the degree admissions program. Slide, please. So let's start with, what is a certificate? A certificate is an undergraduate or postgraduate micro-credential that has a specialized academic focus. Something to keep in mind is that an academic credential is not an industry certification. How our academic certificates work is that you take courses and they go towards the certificate program, and they count for college credit. Another thing to keep in mind is that a certificate is not a degree, but it does stack towards a degree. Just to break it down, a graduate degree is 10 to 12 courses, depending on your field, and this may also include an option for a thesis or a capstone. An undergraduate degree is 128 credits. A certificate is 3 to 5 courses, no thesis, no capstone, no internships required. So another way of thinking about this is a certificate is expertise in a specialized area, and a degree is showing mastery in a field, not necessarily a specialized area. Certificates are time-bound and topic-specific, and many of our students earn our certificates to upskill and demonstrate mastery within a certain area. Additionally, most of our certificates can be completed completely online. However, I do like to mention if you do prefer in-person learning, this can be accommodated by a number of courses we have that are on campus, as well as our active learning weekend. Next slide, please. So earning a certificate. The great thing about our certificate programs is there's no admissions process. Students use the certificate course search tool to find their courses, register, and then they can request their certificate within 3 years' time from registration. We offer over 40 graduate certificates and 4 undergraduate certificates. And students can visit our website to see the complete list of our certificate offerings. Selecting a certificate will take you to an overview page that lists the courses required, as well as the specific learning outcomes for each certificate. Thank you. So reasons for pursuing a certificate. Overall, certificates are the fastest growing post-secondary credential. It can be used to further your study or as a standalone credential. This chart shows many of the reasons our certificate earners at HES choose to earn a certificate with us. So as you can see, it's everything from deepening professional expertise, changing careers, personal interest, as well as preparation for future study. So what can earning a certificate do specifically for me? So this is some general information on who our certificate earners are. Our average age, the average certificate student at HES, their average age is 35. About 50% already have a bachelor's degree and 40 already have a master's degree. Additionally, about 50% of our certificate students also go on to earn a degree with us. And then to give you an idea of professional-wise where some of our students work, we have students employed everywhere from Microsoft to Google, Amazon, Department of Health and Human Services, Red Sox, and Disney. Okay. So when it comes to completing a certificate, the requirements are different from the degree requirements. So we want to make sure that you understand the difference. Graduate certificate courses have to be taken at the graduate level in order for these courses to count towards the certificate. Additionally, a grade of B or better is needed to have the course qualify for your certificate. This is for each individual course, not your GPA overall. You have a total of 3 years to complete certificate courses to have them qualify towards that certificate. And the 3 years begin when you register for your first certificate course. Additionally, the certificate course tracker and request form located in online services will help you keep track of eligible courses towards a certificate. And this is also the same location where you'll come to request the certificate once you've completed all your courses. So I am going to hand this over to my colleague, Allison, who will start talking about the degree programs at Harvard Extension School.
All right, so as we've heard from Jamie about the many opportunities that open up after completing a certificate, let's turn our attention to the degree pathway you may decide to pursue on your journey at Harvard Extension School. Lauren and I are going to spend some time discussing our Master of Liberal Arts, the ALM graduate degree program, and our Bachelor of Liberal Arts, the ALB undergraduate degree program, and how to stack certificates towards your degree program of interest. But first, we wanted to start with a quick poll to find out a little bit more about what you're most interested in studying here at Harvard Extension School. So let me share this poll. We're going to just take a minute to get the snapshot of which of the following topics are most aligned with your degree or certificate of interest. And please feel free to select all that apply. I'm just going to take 60 seconds to do this. So weigh in now. It'll be interesting to see how this turns out. Okay, I'll just take just a few more seconds. Get your final votes in. All right, so that looks like a good snapshot. So let me share the results with you. So it looks like we have a great number of business and management folks in here, and also technology. You see that the results are wide ranging here, and we have some undecided folks as well. And welcome to all of you who are here for this webinar, and hopefully you'll get your questions answered today. All right, so we will move on here. So we offer 24 graduate degrees at Harvard Extension School, almost all of which require the completion of 12 courses totaling 48 credits, with the exception of our Museum Studies ALM degree, which consists of only 10 courses totaling 40 credits. Each of our graduate degree programs has a 5-year degree completion deadline that starts after the completion of any 2 or 3 degree applicable courses, depending on your specific field of study. So if you're thinking about starting with a certificate, please be aware that your degree completion clock will likely begin while you are completing your certificate coursework, regardless of whether or not you have completed your admission courses. Completing a certificate before the degree does not extend your degree completion deadline. For our undergraduates, ALB degree program students, that program requires the completion of 128 credits, up to half of which can be transferred in from other institutions. And students are required to choose a concentration for their studies and will have the opportunity to specialize further by declaring a field of study or minor post-admission. Unlike our ALM program, there is no degree completion clock for students who are working toward our ALB degree. This differs from our undergraduate certificates, which have a 3-year timeline. You can read about our different graduate fields and undergraduate concentrations and fields of study on our website.
So Harvard Extension School has what we call an Earn Your Way In admission process that requires the completion of 2 or 3 stipulated admission courses with grades of B or higher and a formal application. So your degree fields of interest will have a specific degree requirements webpage that will list the courses that are required for admission. And we recommend that you review this page thoroughly for a full picture of all field-specific policies and requirements. So you should plan to submit your application while you are completing your last course for admission so that you have access to your admitted degree candidate benefits as early as possible. For ALM students, so our graduate students, in order for certificate courses to count toward your degree, you will need to apply for admission to the degree program within 5 years of completing them. Any course that is more than 5 years old at the time that you submit your application will be considered expired and can no longer fulfill degree requirements, even if it was used to fulfill a certificate requirement. Please note that we do have a few select courses that expire after 2 years, so it's always best to go back to that degree requirements page for your specific field of study for details regarding course expiration. Once you're admitted, your courses will lock in, so you'll no longer have to worry about them expiring. As a degree candidate, your primary concern will then just be meeting that 5-year degree completion deadline.
So prior to working toward admission to our graduate program, you must have completed a regionally accredited U.S. bachelor's degree or its foreign equivalent that was conferred before starting your graduate coursework at Harvard Extension School. Additionally, you cannot hold a previously completed graduate degree in a related field. So if you have an MBA, for example, you would want to check in with our office to determine if you are eligible for our management and finance degree programs. We urge you to confirm your eligibility prior to taking courses. Other requirements include our online test of critical reading and writing skills, which is a prerequisite for many admission courses and an admission requirement for nearly all of our fields. Students are allowed 2 attempts at this test, and if they do not pass, they must complete the alternative expository writing course for their field of interest. This is listed on the degree requirements page for your field of study. Lastly, in addition to earning grades of B or higher in your admission courses, you will need to maintain a minimum GPA of 3.0 in all degree applicable courses to be admitted. So for example, if your certificate fulfills the 4 electives for our management degree program, and then you take the 3 admission courses, all 7 courses will be counted as part of your GPA.
So if you're interested in our undergraduate degree program, you cannot already hold a bachelor's degree. Additionally, you must have a high school diploma that was awarded, or the equivalent to a high school diploma, that was awarded at least 5 years prior to enrolling in any degree applicable coursework at Harvard Extension School. So similar to our ALM degree program, students pursuing admission to the ALB must either pass the online test of critical reading and writing skills or earn a B or higher in the alternative expository writing course for the program. So you can find this information on the degree requirements webpage for the ALB degree. We will also be looking at your Harvard Extension School cumulative GPA at the time that you apply to ensure you meet the 3.0 minimum that we require. And please note that if you are intending to transfer courses in from other institutions, we do not consider your transferred coursework as part of your GPA for the purpose of admission at any point here during your studies. So lastly, please keep in mind that you may not be enrolled as an undergraduate degree seeking student at another institution at the time that you apply for admission or at any point during your Harvard Extension School degree candidacy.
So we have many students who start with the goal of earning a certificate and continue on to a degree program, or who start with the degree program and decide to specialize further with a certificate program. For graduate students, the best way to start is by selecting a graduate certificate that relates to your ALM degree field of interest, such as the Data Analytics Certificate for our Finance degree program or International Security Certificate for our International Relations degree. For undergraduate students, you should choose either an undergraduate or graduate certificate that can overlap with your degree. Please note, however, that we do not recommend graduate level coursework for ALB students prior to their admission to the program, as this can pose a strong academic risk. Of course, you are welcome to pick a certificate and a degree from different areas. It's good to know that you are not limited to only pursuing certificates directly related to your program. Just be aware that you will need to do your research to see if and how the 2 credentials overlap, and that you may need to take additional courses to satisfy the requirements for the certificate or the degree if they don't overlap seamlessly. Our specific certificate web pages list related degrees that you could look into.
So to find certificate courses, you should use the certificate course search. Once you are in our general course catalog, select either graduate or undergraduate certificate under the degree, certificate, and pre-medical course search. From there, you just need to choose the specific certificates that you would like to pursue to see the courses that are available to fulfill its specific requirements. The requirements listed in the search will match what is on the certificate overview page of the website, so make sure that you are starting there. Similarly, both our undergraduate and graduate degree programs have their own searches that you should use to select your degree courses. So if you know that earning both a certificate and a degree is one of your goals, you should plan to pull up the 2 specific searches to choose your courses, one for your certificate and one for your degree, and compare how the courses you are interested in count toward each credential. The best practice is to open up each search in a separate tab so that you can easily toggle between them.
All right, so next we'll discuss the benefits and challenges as you consider which pathway is the right fit for you. We'll start by reviewing a popular pathway, pursuing the certificate before the degree. This pathway is a great option for students who are unsure whether or not they would like to pursue a full degree program at Harvard Extension School. It also allows them to list a Harvard credential on their resume that could help them find professional, personal, or academic opportunities while they decide if they would like to continue their studies at Harvard Extension School. Another benefit is that earning a certificate before applying for admission waives a delayed degree program application fee of $300 for students who have completed significant coursework prior to admission. For students intending to complete the certificate first, please be mindful that our certificate and degree programs do have separate sets of eligibility criteria. You will need to be aware of this as you plan out your courses, as any courses you complete prior to meeting your degree program's eligibility criteria will not count towards your degree requirements.
So although many students start with a certificate and then transition into a degree program, we do have a number of students who prioritize admission to the degree program and then earn a certificate while they are completing their degree. So those who wish to secure their degree candidacy first before embarking on the process of earning a certificate gain earlier access to many admitted degree candidate benefits, including academic advising, priority registration. You get financial aid for eligible students, more robust access to the Office of Career Services, and there are many other perks in addition to those. So the academic advising in particular, though, is a significant plus. Having specific conversations with your academic advisor about your academic, personal and professional goals allows you to do kind of complex degree and certificate cross-program planning with the expert assistance of your advisor. As I mentioned, this can be a very complex process, so it is very helpful to have their assistance depending on the requirements that you wish to align. However, it's also good to know up front that one or more of your admission courses may not satisfy certificate course requirements. So for example, some pro seminars are specific to our ALN degree program and therefore will not fulfill requirements for any of our certificates. So when in doubt, you should always be going back to the degree and certificate course searches. And you're also welcome to contact your advisor for input.
Okay, so if you are hoping to get started, hold on a second here. If you're hoping to get started or you're planning to continue taking courses this upcoming spring, here are your immediate next steps. Now, check out courses of interest using the certificate and/or degree searches. Complete pre-registration prior to starting the registration process. Register for courses by the registration deadline. Pay for your courses by the full payment deadline. Submit proof of COVID-19 vaccination within 7 days of your registration in any course with an on-campus presence, and then prepare for the start of the term. You can reference the specific deadlines on the slides and on the academic calendar at the link that will be posted in the chat.
So regardless of whether you are starting with a certificate or a degree, there is plenty of support available to you. So the certificates office holds weekly virtual office hours where students can drop in and ask questions, and they are also available to help via email. For those interested in our degree programs, we recommend utilizing our pre-degree advising resources that include individual advising appointments, bi-weekly open office hours via Zoom, and information sessions on various topics throughout the year, such as our application process. Advisors are also available to answer your questions via email, so feel free to email us as well. So lastly, we do have informational videos on our admission process, our specific degree programs, international student information, and degree candidate benefits. So all of the above can be accessed from our pre-degree and admissions advising webpage, which we will link to in the chat in just a moment.
So we invite you to check out the booths and presentations available today during this open house to deepen your understanding of Harvard Extension School's offerings and opportunities. The following offices are staffing booths today where you can get your questions related to your pursuit of a certificate and or of a degree answered. the Office of Pre-Degree Advising and Admissions, certificates, enrollment services, student financial services, and degree programs. And of course, there are other booths available, so do be sure to check out the full list at our academics fair.
So we also invite you to get in touch with us if you have questions specific to your academic record and next steps. So for students who are pursuing a certificate exclusively, please contact the certificates office. And for students with questions that are related to degree programs, please contact the Office of Pre-Degree Advising and Admissions. So the contact details are here on the slide, and we're also going to post them in the chat so you can just easily grab those after we finish the presentation.
Okay, so we thank you for your attention during the presentation portion of today's session. We will now take your questions using the Q&A feature in the Zoom space here. So due to time constraints, we may not be able to answer all questions during the session today. We do invite you to visit the relevant booths we mentioned earlier for additional assistance. But in the meantime, please feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A feature of the Zoom space here. Thank you.
So I am seeing several questions asked here that students are asking about our dissimilar fields policy. So this is for students that are interested in pursuing our graduate degree program, our ALM degree. If a prior graduate degree that you already have would make you ineligible for pursuing a degree we have here because the fields are too closely related. So this is something we would have to look at your specific transcript for. So we have to look at the curriculum of the program you completed, as well as your the courses that were part of that program. So we are going to put in the chat a link to our graduate program admissions page. It has at the top under step 1 eligibility information, and you can just go ahead and fill out a form where you can upload your transcript so that we can give you an official determination on that.
Can take one. I'm seeing a few questions related to stacking and possibly doing certificates and degrees in different fields. So generally what our students will do is they'll do a certificate and a degree within the same field, because that is easier when it comes to stacking and making sure that your certificate requirements also fulfill your degree requirements. However, that doesn't mean that's what you have to do. You could certainly earn a degree in one field and a certificate in another. It just will require a bit more research on your part, and also working closely with an academic advisor to make sure that you're meeting those degree requirements. What's listed for certificates in the certificate course are those courses. We don't do substitutions. So those are the courses that you would be taking towards that certificate. And each certificate generally has different, we call them pillars, requirements, with multiple options for courses that fulfill those requirements.
Okay, and so there are a few questions here about getting started with a certificate first, which is a very common pathway, but also having the intention and the foreknowledge to know that that you'll want to be going on to a degree, and just also making sure that you have the eligibility lined up for the clarity on your eligibility to move forward into the degree program once you finish the certificate. And this is in particular to the question, a few questions are in particular to the international student population. And so what is involved in just knowing that, so starting with the certificate courses first, but knowing that you want to move on to the degree program, it is best, and we did mention this in the presentation, but I'll reinforce it here. So important to do the work up front for determining your eligibility for the degree program. If you know you want to continue on to that in the future, do it even before you start taking certificate courses, because that is going to ensure that once you move into the admission courses down the line, that you have that kind of certainty and that clarity that that you need in order to make sure that you're making good decisions as you move forward, and that you are spending your time, energy, and money on courses that are going to be applicable to a program that is going to serve you in the way that you want it to serve you. So for example, this includes things like if you have a bachelor's degree completed outside of the United States, you want to make sure that you get that evaluated for equivalency to a 4-year regionally accredited American bachelor's degree. That process is, we have a page called Verifying International Credentials on the website. Definitely look into that, and I'm sure Kelly can drop that link in the chat again. Make sure you take care of that first before you keep moving forward, so that you can, that your bachelor's degree is going to meet our requirements right from the beginning, so you don't have to worry about that later down the line. So,
yeah. And related to Allison's question, I'm going to pull one from the chat as well. We have a student who is asking, they're an international student, and they want to know if they can complete a master's degree entirely online. And so this is a difference between certificates and degrees. All of our degree programs have some sort of residency component to them. So this could be you coming here for one specific course, any 3 courses for your degree, any 2. So your degree requirements webpage will include the exact amount of courses you have to come for, or if it's just one particular course, it will give you that information as well. So you really should start there for your program just to see what the specific requirement is, but all of them will require at least 1 course to be completed in Cambridge. And so you mentioned being an international student. I want to mention for that you would require then an F1 student visa to be studying on campus. And that's something we can only offer to students during the Harvard summer term. So Harvard Summer School can issue I-20 certificates for those visas, whereas we can't offer that during fall and spring. So international students would only be able to complete their residency component over the summer.
I'll take one. I'm noticing a few questions around how classes can specifically stack, or if you wanted to earn more than 1 certificate. So a course can stack towards 1 certificate, and a course can stack towards a degree. A course cannot stack for more than 1 certificate. So what will happen is when you are using the certificate course tracker and it's time to request your certificate, you'll go in and you'll pick which courses you want towards that certificate. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to just be very careful, and it's something you can work with your admissions, or not your admissions, your degree advisor with, to make sure that you, if you're getting more than 1 certificate in a particular area, that you're making sure that you're going to have an overlap of courses, since a course can only count towards 1 certificate.
And just to kind of go along with what Jamie was just saying about working with your advisor, I do see some questions about whether or not advisors in the Office of Pre-Degree Advising and Admissions can also be useful in helping direct students towards certificates that could be stackable toward degrees. And we're absolutely happy to do that. So prior to admission, you do have access to individual appointments with pre-degree admissions advisors, as well as email, virtual office hours. So you're always welcome to get in touch with us for assistance. We highlight the academic advising in the presentation because as you complete more courses and you have very specific degree requirements left for your program, being admitted and working with your academic advisor to make sure that everything lines up perfectly, since they're the one ultimately approving you to graduate, is very important. So we're definitely there to help you as you're not admitted students and you're working toward admission and also the certificates. But it is still important to prioritize admission rather early so that you don't find yourself in a position where you're close to graduating and not admitted yet.
So I see some questions about the test of critical reading and writing skills and the timing of when to take that test. And so just for clarity purposes, if you are exclusively a certificate student and you have no intention of going on for a degree, you might not have to take the test of critical reading and writing skills. There are some courses that certificate courses that do require that you take and pass that test, but not all. But if you do intend to go on to a degree, or if the degree is definitely your priority, then you will likely have to take the test of critical reading and writing skills. So we do encourage you to take it early so that you have clarity as to whether or not you've passed it. If you passed it, then it's on your record for eternity, or if you don't pass it, then that's a good heads up to you that maybe you want to consider taking the alternative expository writing course that is designated for your particular graduate field of study. And this also, as we're thinking about the undergraduate students too, this is a really important consideration to make as you're thinking about whether or not you're cleared to go right into Expo 25, or if you'll need to take Expo 15. So just knowledge is power, right? So like being able to take advantage of that understanding as to where your writing skills stand right now and whether or not you would benefit from having a course that is going to allow you to strengthen that foundation first is going to be helpful sooner rather than later. So we do recommend that you take it when you have clarity as to whether or not you have to take it. So, yeah.
Okay. I am seeing a question here. So are certificate course grades the only GPAs that are included in eligibility requirements for the graduate degree? So when we are looking at the GPA for graduate program admission, we are looking at all of the grades in courses that you've taken at Harvard Extension School that could be applied toward your degree. So this could include certificate courses if they're able to overlap with the degree, as well as the stipulated admission courses for your fields and any other degree course that you've completed prior to applying. We are not looking at the GPA from your bachelor's degree. So we're not going to be looking at that. Our admission is not selective. It's truly an earn your way in admission process. So we are very interested in the work that you're capable of doing right now in your Harvard Extension School courses.
I've seen a few questions related to course format, so I can take that on. So like we mentioned before, certificates can be completed 100% virtually online. When it comes time to register for courses in our course search, you'll see what format the courses are being offered in. So we will have online, we'll have live web, which is online, but you attend at a certain time. We have an online or coming on campus option if you would like to do that. And then we have on campus, as well as some other options thrown in there that are a hybrid combination. For example, we have some courses that have an active learning weekend that you come in and you're there on the campus for the weekend. So lots of variety based on your needs and what you're looking for. But just to reiterate, when it comes to our certificates, those can be done 100% online. We make sure that each requirement has courses that are offered 100% virtually.
Okay, so there is there are a few questions about timing of applying to the program. And so let's just go over that really briefly here. I know we just have a few minutes left in the session. So you are eligible to apply to the degree program. And so just to be very specific, degree, we're talking about degrees here, certificates. You request your certificate once you've completed your last certificate course and you verified that you meet the grade criteria in that last course. Everything is in order. You go and you request that certificate. There's no application process, right? Degree programs, different story. So you would be applying, actually filling out an application to gain admission to a degree program. And that happens when you are in the process of completing your last course for admission. You do not need to wait until that last course for admission is completed. We do invite you to apply while it's in progress because we want you to have the ability to gain admission as soon as you're able to gain admission. And so you can start working with your advising team and really reap the benefits of being an admitted degree candidate. So we do have a when to apply page on, and I see Kelly dropped that in the chat there. So definitely take a look at that link. There is a schedule. We accept applications 3 times a year in the fall, spring, and summer. There's a corresponding application period. And we invite you to check out those details on our website and identify when your particular periods might be the one for you. Make a note on your calendar, and we do offer information sessions regularly and general open office hours as well. So definitely check those out if you want more information about applying and the program in general.
So it does look like we are at a time where we need to wrap up, and we know there are questions that we were unable to answer since there were so many great questions being asked during this, way more than we had time for. So we do have a lot of booths available that we talked about earlier. So we still have people from certificates, from the Office of Pre-Degree Advising and Admissions, able to answer questions. So make sure that you do go to the academics fair, see all the available booths in the lobby that in there, and then just make sure that you click on the ones that you would like to visit and ask your questions there. We have a lot of staff that will be willing to help you. So thanks so much for attending, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Good to see you.